Welcome back to One Guy, One Course, One Disc. We're here today at Generals Highway Disc Golf Course in Crownsville, Maryland. I'm standing on the tee box of hole 1 and this course looks brutal. So let's go take a look at the course. Hole 1 is a 526 foot par 4. It's going to go downhill 95 feet. It's a fairly straight shot for the first 258 feet. Then it's going to turn slightly to the left, and then it's going to turn back to the right. But once you get down to the bottom of this hill, it gets a lot more difficult to get through the trees to get to the basket. But once you finish hole number 1, hole number 2 is going to be to the left. Hole 2 is a 213 foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 18 feet. It's going to be about 126 feet to get to where the trees are going to start to be a problem. But once you finish hole number 2, hole 3 is going to be to your right. Hole 3 is a 295 foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 29 feet. It's going to be about 177 feet to get to this little ridge right here. And then it's another 118 feet to the basket. But once you finish hole number 3, hole 4 is going to be to your left. Hole 4 is a 399 foot par 4 that's going to go uphill 11 feet. It's going to be 166 feet to get to this bend. Then it goes to the right, and then it'll slowly turn back to the left. But once you finish hole number 4, hole 5 will be straight ahead of you. Hole 5 is a 223 foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 30 feet. Basically, you're just trying to dodge all the trees in the fairway, like most of this course. But once you manage to get up this hill and get to the basket, hole 6 will be behind us to the left. Hole 6 is a 354 foot par 4 that's going to go downhill 39 feet. There are 2 lanes on this fairway. The left one's probably a little more open than the right side, but the right side is a little more direct. But once you finish hole number 6, hole 7 is going to be to your right. Hole 7 is a 225 foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 44 feet. You're going to have about 95 feet before you have to start worrying about trees, and then there's just tiny gaps to the left and right all the way up the hill. But hopefully once you finish hole 7, hole 8 will be straight ahead of you. Hole 8 is a 395 foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 59 feet. It's going to be about 180 85 feet, and it's going to start to slightly turn to the left. Not much though. But once you finish hole number 8, hole 9 is going to be to your right. Hole 9 is a 241 foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 40 feet. It's a pretty straight shot most of the way up the hill. But once you finish hole 9, hole 10 will be straight out to the pathway, and then you're going to go left. Hole 10 is a 396 foot par 4. It's going to go downhill 15 feet. This hole does play along this hillside the whole way to the basket, so there is great potential for a roll away. And then at the basket, there is a pretty steep drop off right behind it, so you do need to be careful coming into the screen, because anything that goes down this hill will make it very difficult coming back up. There is a fence down at the bottom of the hill to keep your disc from going any further, but if you do get to the fence, it's going to be a nightmare coming back up the hill. But once you finish hole 10, hole 11 is going to be straight down the path in front of you. Hole 11 is a 343 foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 11 feet. It's going to be about 202 feet. Then you're going to take a slight turn to the right to get to the basket. But once you finish hole 11, hole 12 will be straight ahead of you. Hole 12 is a 376 foot par 4 that's going to go downhill 63 feet. You're going to go straight, and then it's going to turn slightly to the right, where it gets even harder to get through the trees. But once you finish hole 12, hole 13 is going to be to your right. Hole 13 is a 272 foot par 3 that plays across this little ravine here. It's going to be about 154 feet to get across back up the upslope. But once you finish hole 13, hole 14 is going to be ahead of us off to the left a little bit. Hole 14 is a 362 foot par 4 that's going to go uphill 27 feet. It's going to be about 235 feet before you want to start to make your turn to the right to get to the basket. And then from this fallen tree that we're about to come to, it's another 127 feet to the basket. So this is where you want to start to make your turn. If you can get a little more left, that is better, because there's a small gap that's clear to the basket. But once you finish hole 14, hole 15 is going to be to our right. Hole 15 is a 224-foot par 3 that's going to bend slightly to the left. But once you finish hole 15, hole 16 will be straight ahead of us. Hole 16 is a 409-foot par 4 that's going to go downhill 76 feet. It's going to be about 309 feet to get to the bottom of the hill, and then it's going to turn to the right, and it's another 100 feet to the basket. But once you finish hole 16, you're going to go straight ahead to get to hole 17. Hole 17 is a 266-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 9 feet. It's going to be about 203 feet straight, and then it's going to turn to the right. But once you finish hole 17, you're going to go straight down the pathway ahead of you. That path will lead to a walking path. You go turn to the right, and then to get to hole 18, you turn to the left right before the bridge. Finally, hole 18 gives us relief from the trees. It is a 460-foot par 4 that's going to go uphill 1 feet. You're going to have to go about 255 feet straight, and then it's going to turn to the right, and then follow this pathway up to the basket. And once you finish hole 18, you'll find the parking lot up the hill off to the right a little bit. Now that you've seen the course, let's take a look at today's disc. It is the Obsidian discs Cinder. It's a 7502. This is a company out of Finland. So let's see how this disc flies. Hey, got through cleanly. That's a first. That was awful. Oh, that was just awful. Oh. Too far. You know what? Let's try a forehand. Oh, that was. Oh, jeez. I got us up there in forehand. Of course. Oh. Oh.
course, I hit a tree. Don't roll. I thought I had a good shot. Really? Seriously? Oh, way too inside. Oh, did not get the skip on one. Yeah, turn that one over a lot. Huh. Oh. So there you have the Obsidian Discs Cinder at General's Highway Disc Golf Course. As far as the disc goes, honestly I didn't get a good look at it, but it seems like it flies like a T-bird, so straight with some fade at the end. It's a decent disc. There's a lot of discs, similar flight numbers that fly pretty much the same, so if you want to give it a try, definitely check it out. As far as this course goes, oh man, very hilly, very tight lines, if there are any lines. It's almost as if they just found a path in the woods and put holes there. Doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to it. I mean, if they cut down some trees, there's potential to be a great disc golf course, but as it is right now, it's tough. Great course for beating in a disc, great course for getting a workout, but honestly you're just going to be frustrated at the end of the day. There's not a lot in this area. But definitely come check it out if you're in the area. Until next time, off to the next course.